Hi everybody, welcome if you're new or welcome back if you're not. But if you are new, hi, I'm Karima. I post art and journaling content. So far it's only been bullet journaling content, which is questionable, but I will eventually post art content. I'm just still working on that. But just to get something out of the way, yes, this note is not painted, but I have an injury that has been ongoing and it's in pain, and I don't want to anger it more, so I've left her clear. But she looks a bit weird, but it's fine. We ignore that. So today we are going to be doing my June spread in my traveler's journal. I did use my traveler's journal all throughout May. I've already taken her out because I will eventually do a video on how I'm enjoying my traveler's journal, but I'm just trying to fill her up a bit more. But just spoiler alert, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Okay, so here is the journal, and we will be doing my June setup. But first, let's have a look at how May turned out. So I did start this form of bullet journaling in May. If you want to see that video, you can check it out. It is on my page. I did mention in that video I would eventually find more flower stickers, which I haven't, but I just left the cover how it is. She is a bit sparse, but for June I am going to be a bit more artsy, which is kind of something I wanted to stay clear from, but yeah, it's fine. So here is just a look at the monthly log filled out, my monthly dashboard, all the things that I kind of did, was excited for, a massive shopping list. Everything's just here and I can look back. So the next page is my budget tracker, which I'm gonna just try to hide some things. I will just say this whole system of tracking just didn't help. It just didn't feel like tracking. It just felt like writing down what I purchased. Plus it wasn't enough space. I've done so many purchases this month. The only thing I will say that I will take onto next time is kind of like, this section of my expenses. But yeah, the system didn't work and we'll be changing that. So this was the setup I did show in the video of my weekly spread, and all of them do look like the same thing. There will be some differences in June, but overall I really like this kind of layout of my days on the left, everything to track on the right. Some of it is a lot less than other weeks. For example, here I didn't track a single time I drank water. I tried here, but I noticed it's just not enough space for less than a litre. So that got removed eventually. I do intend on bringing that back. I have my little habits up here. This is the current week that I'm on. We're still midway through this week, but I did want to get this video done and posted today. So just noticing throughout, I did like doing different colors each week, just kind of made it feel bright and new and fresh. So that might be something I'll be taking on to June as well. And without spoiling my June spread, I did this, which is quite ugly, but I'm kind of vibing with the ugliness. It's just a May reflection page. I did end up doing a bunch of doodles. The colouring is not the best. I didn't want to spend too much time on this because I just didn't want to be overworked, but I do think I will take on the doodling aspect again when I do my June reflection, but just make it cuter, I guess. But anyways, that is just the flip through for May. Now we can get started in June. June is an ice cream theme. If you can't tell, it was actually requested by a friend because I didn't know what to choose, and they said ice cream, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with that. This drawing is inspired. I'll put up the image on the screen now, but now I'm going to hop over to the voiceover while you can watch me draw this fast because it's gonna take so freaking long in real time. So the first thing we do is, of course, just line this ice cream truck. The design I chose was pretty simple. I just didn't want something that was too complicated and that would take too much time. One thing, especially now that I'm doodling in this theme, I really didn't want to get caught up in creating a really, really beautiful design because I'm just a perfectionist, and when things don't go my way, I get annoyed at myself. And that is one thing definitely from this setup. There were many mistakes made throughout the entire process. This one pen that I just refuse to not use because I really just want to finish it, because if I put it down I'm never going to pick it up again, and I don't like waste. But it's a 0.5 pen, and in some angles it just doesn't want to work. It just is, it's a nightmare to work with sometimes. I wanted this entire theme to be really light, really fun, loads of bright colors, just so it just seems like a bit more is done than, for example, May. This process did take a super, super long time. I think in total I was recording for about 3 hours. It just took ages. So this may be the last spread in a while that's this much effort. And I think the main reason why I did doodle a lot throughout the entire process is because I don't have ice cream stickers. So I guess for July I may look for stickers that are related to a specific theme. I did use different coloured washi tape throughout this process, as well as a bunch of different nice Crayola markers, from pinks, purples, oranges, browns. Just used a whole range of colours, honestly. Kind of picked what I thought would work, and if it didn't, oh well, it's already done, you know? So I just tried to not be too serious in this theme. But I do really like how this front page, I guess, turned out. A lot better than May, at least. And it's still really cute, so simple and effective. Okay, so this monthly spread, holy hell did this take out the life of me. I started out by writing the June, in bubble letters, thinking that would be the most complicated part. Then I doodled some ice cream, simple as it is. And then the theme I got was inspired from a picture on Pinterest where someone drew ice cream dripping from the, I guess, tops of each of the boxes for the days. So I started out doing the line art and realized I forgot that I'm drawing melting ice cream. So I stopped doing the line art midway through and added the ice cream, and then continued to do it that way for the rest of the boxes. This looks like it wouldn't take that much time, but it really took so long, and I just can't explain or comprehend why, because it's not really detailed or even a complex drawing. So I think it's just extremely tedious doing it this many times, but I really do like the end result, so I'm happy with how that is. Once all the ice cream was drawn, I guess, that's when I finished the rest of the line art, erased everything, and that's when I started colouring. At first, the June title, I still think I used colours that were too dark, but I guess it contrasts the colours of the melting ice cream a bit. I don't know, I just switched it up a bit. The colours for the melting ice cream, I kind of randomized it. There's not exactly a theme. I think I mixed between 3 or 4 different shades. One of the shades I used was just too close to that initial pink, so then I mixed it with orange, and then it became a bit too close to the yellow. So, we just do it however it goes. It turns out all right at the end. That's all that matters. And then I started colouring the ice lollies. The first one is a fab. I do love me a good fab. They're great. And then I coloured in a rocket, because who doesn't love a rocket? I finished up with just a red border, because I do love making borders. And then I added some washi tape to kind of fill in the blanks. And this is where a mistake happened. While I was writing out, I guess, the dates for the month, I noticed, hey, there's just not enough boxes. So my I guess, correction was to make another box just to show the one instead of not adding the 30th. I don't think it turned out too bad. I do like kind of looking cyclically at my calendars, if that makes sense. So that last week just ending on a Monday, I'm not the biggest fan of anyways. So you know what, a happy mistake. So the next spread is my monthly dashboard. I was not bothered to go all out for this, I'll be so honest. I also wanted to maximize all the space, so I kept it quite limited. I added a doodle of an ice cream in the bottom just to keep that ice cream theme going. I couldn't be bothered to do a massive insane title, so I just wrote monthly dashboard. I do think I'm going to invest in, I guess, like a nice small like brush marker, just so I can do fancy titles without going all out and be able to do it quickly. I also added a cute little twister, because who doesn't love a twister lolly? In terms of the actual layout, it's the exact same as May. Again, inspired by Jashi Koren. I think this layout is so beneficial. It really helped me in May. Just being able to see everything all at once, one page. Even if I want to kind of look back and think, oh, what did I do in this specific month? I can just look at the monthly dashboard. It kind of has all the important information all on one spread. I then started adding the colors for, the ice cream, the overall theme. For the titles of each box, I added a nice peach shade to highlight it so it separates itself from all the boxes. And just to go over the actual titles, there's an important date section, a section where I want to focus, a section for my word of the month that I kind of want to focus on, a master to-do list, monthly goals, something that's coming up, something I'm nervous about, something I'm excited for. There's a huge shopping list because I do need that, side quests, which is something I just call side quests for fun things I do over the month, and then a section just to write what's coming up in the month after. Overall, this layout is simple. I added the same red border around all the boxes and just kept it, honestly, just clear and concise, because again, a lot of information is going on the spread. That's why I want to maximize as much space as possible. This next spread is just a budget tracker. So my May budget tracker was kind of a flop. I did have an entire section of kind of writing exactly what I bought and how much I spent. But honestly, that didn't really work for me because it just acted like a second Monzo. And at first I thought, it would help me, rethink before buying something. And no, not really. It didn't help me budget whatsoever. So this time, for this budget tracker, I'm just including my fixed expenses and my extra, just other expenses that I'm gonna focus on, this month. So there's things like shopping money, there'll be grocery money, there's transport money, all in that section. And then fixed expenses just includes things like bills and things I have to pay monthly anyways, so that's never gonna change. However, I am with the just other expenses, it all depends on, however much money is coming into my account in the first place and however much is left over. So I will have a section in my weekly spread, which you'll see, that includes a weekly budget tracker. But for this is just kind of like a overall look at everything for the month. So for colors, I just went for like purple and greens. When I think of green, I think of money. So I use green to separate each of the sections in the boxes to make it easier to kind of look at when I do eventually write. In terms of the ice cream, I added a rocket again. I don't know, rockets are just so iconic. And then I just added a pink swirly ice cream with a flake on top. That's the only ice cream kind of theme for this spread. I did leave it for one page because I really don't think I needed a double spread for this like last time. So I just kept it small and concise. And that top section I just left blank for just, I guess, my financial goals for the month. So exactly how much I would want to put in to like savings, for example, or if I want to spend less in certain expenses. It's kind of just for whatever goals I have in mind. I also added that same red border just like all the other spreads. At first I did try dark green and I just hated it because it clashed with the green in the boxes, so I just stuck with the red. This next section is just a space for pictures. I kind of left it blank, not knowing exactly what I wanted, but I then just thought, hey, a memories page would be good. And I do want to take more pictures, especially this year. That is one of my goals. So I do have like a mini Instax, and I also have a HP Sprocket, I think that was called, the mini printer. So I just drew this massive ice cream and I colored it this like reddish orange because I really like, I forgot what it's called, blood orange. Yes, I really like this blood orange sorbet specifically. And I added a cherry on top. So I'll just put loads of different pictures here. Maybe not even loads, maybe like 2 or 3. I just want to take pictures. So this hopefully encourages me a bit more on that. This next section is so simple. I think it took me a max of like 2 minutes to actually make. But all I did was write junk. And ideally what I want is to just put random junk I find throughout the month, from stickers or labels, just anything, because I don't junk journal, but I love collecting junk. So I thought, oh, a double spread in my bullet journal would be nice for this kind of stuff. So finally, the last spread in this entire flip through is my week at a glance. So that left side page has stayed the exact same as my May spread because it was perfectly fine. Nothing was wrong with it. I use it really efficiently. I've mentioned before, I don't need daily spreads because it's just too much space. And I use my Google Calendar for daily planning. This just kind of helps me see exactly what's happening in the week and highlights the major events or major to-do list. I used the same stamps that I used for my May spreads. I still like the way the stamps look. It's quick and it still looks really nice. I really like that scrapbooky kind of look. To keep that ice cream theme going, I did add 2 little ice creams in the spread in spaces where I think don't take up too much. I did want to maximize the space and keep it on a double spread, so that's why the theme is quite limited in this spread, but the 2 ice creams do add. So I started lining those bottom boxes, and it's just a to-do list, a content ideas section, a place to write some meal ideas because I am trying to eat better and eat healthier, and then the last bit is for next week. So now to talk about the top part of the right hand side, I've got a small month at a glance just so I can know exactly what week it is. I have my mini habit tracker on the right hand side for the whole week, which includes reading, drawing, journaling, working out, and taking my supplements. So those are things I want to just track daily. On the bottom of that, I have my budget tracker for the week. So it's just including all of my other expenses, and then how much I spent and how much is remaining in the overall budget. So every week I want to break down if I've spent too much, or if I've got some money left to spend. So hopefully this helps me a bit more with budgeting rather than what I did in May. I also added a tracker for my mood, which is kind of cute. I added like ice cream scoops and I'll color them all in different colors. I am gonna make a mood tracker like key. I will have it as a loose paper, just probably somewhere in my journal, I'm still not sure, but somewhere in my traveler's journal at least. But I'll color all those ice cream scoops depending on my mood. I have a space for sleep, and I'm just gonna write the amount of hours I've slept, and then hydration. Hopefully it's enough space, it should be, to be able to write milliliters but instead of liters. But ideally I drink more than a liter, that's the goal. Again, I use the same red color for the border. I really like how this layout turned out. I think it's really efficient and I'm excited to use it. So that is my entire journal. I really enjoyed making this spread, even though it did take me an ungodly amount of hours. but I just love the colors. I love how bright everything is. It's really giving summer vibes. I had such fun doodling. I haven't doodled like this in a very long time. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed this ice cream theme, and I hope I can continue it throughout the rest of the month. But thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!